program are those of the speakers and the host and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we have a great show today on tap. Interviews you're going to hear on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. Not Emma Cunningham. We listened to her on Tuesday. We're going to have senior for South Range, Taylor McClish, the other senior for South Range, one of their two on the girls team. And then we will go to Jackson Milton, and you'll be able to hear from their senior standout, Aaron Romai, as well. So those two interviews on tap for today. It's going to be a great show, and we're so thankful that you're able to tune in. And we're also thankful that Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown is our wonderful sponsor. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same, as always, on Running Point and on YSN. Let's go over the scores from last night and recap the night that was. It was a Wednesday. We had some games get canceled, some games get moved, but we still had plenty of action going on, and we'll start with a very close one in Badger as they are able to get the win on the boys' side over Wyndham, 66-64. A big night for Duncan Moy. He had 35 points in the win. Badger, finally, they get one of these close games that can go either way to fall their way. It feels like every time Badger gets into a close game, some team pulls out a buzzer beater to beat them. This time around, Badger is able to hang on and win the close game, 66-64. So good for the Braves there. On the girls' side, Badger got the victory. Final score there was 61-27 over Wyndham. This was a boys-girls doubleheader, and the girls have won 13 in a row on the Badgers side. And they're playing Pymatuning Valley tonight. 2 games in 2 days. Pie Valley comes in with a 12-4 record, and this one is for a seat in the championship game for the NAC. So Badger hasn't won a championship in 38 seasons, and a win tonight will give them a spot in the game. So big night for Badger. They'll try to win their 14th in a row and try to lock in a seat into the NAC championship game. You can catch that one on YSNLive.com. Matt Morrison will have the call as always. East Palestine gets another win on their schedule. They're starting to really heat up. 49-33, the final score there for the Bulldogs. We had Orange in action last night. Their girls fall to the CVC leading Chagrin Falls 59-25, the final score there. We saw Edgewood pick up another win inside the other side of the CVC, the Lake Division. They beat Harvey 57-34. That's their 13th win of the season. Fitch goes into Boardman and looks impressive and beats Boardman 58-51. Big game in the AAC because Boardman was trying to keep pace with Canfield to make sure that, that second matchup on in Canfield, it would be for the AAC, not the championship, it would be for first place. Now all of a sudden Boardman needs Canfield to slip up because now they're 2 games back of the Cardinals after losing to Fitch 58-51. Tough week for the Spartans. They went down to Lake on Monday, and Lake is a big team, and Lake kind of flexed their muscles on them a little bit. And I said if they handle it right, it can be a win. But they come off of that loss, and in a really important home game, they needed this win inside Boardman, and they couldn't get it fixed. They pushed Canfield all they could on Saturday. They look like a much better team in the second half of the season. We've been saying that consistently, and they kind of prove it last night against Boardman. 58-51 the final score there. Howland gets the win over Warren Harding last night, 44-34. And then the biggest game of the night happened down in Alliance. Marlington hosting Salem. This one, first place on the line in the EBC. Obviously, Marlington has had Salem's number as of late. The last 3 games have all gone Marlington's way, and really, they haven't been that close. Marlington's been able to kind of match up well with the Quakers, and I think the Quakers were sick of hearing that, and they've heard it on this show. They've heard it from other people. Okay, you just don't match up well with Marlington. I've said it because that's how I explained. That's how I explained last year West Branch being able to beat Marlington twice, and Salem not being able to beat Marlington but being able to beat West Branch. This year was the same story, but it was with Canfield. Salem was able to handle Canfield, beat them, but they weren't able to beat Marlington. But yet Canfield was able to beat Marlington. And I stood on this show and I said, it's about matchups. Marlington just matches up well with Salem. And I think maybe Salem was just a little bit tired of people thinking that they did not match up well with Marlington because they went down there. They played just the absolute, like, if you had to identify Salem basketball, what they're about, it would be the way they played last night in Marlington. It was the prototypical Salem game. We are going to shut you down on defense, and then we are going to make enough plays on offense to win the game. We're not going to blow you out on offense when we're playing like this. We're not going to run up the score. We're not going to score 60, but we're going to make enough plays down the stretch. We're going to find ways to score, and we're going to find ways to beat you on offense. And then on defense, good luck scoring against us. The final score was 41-35. Salem got the win. 35 points is by far the lowest Marlington has been held to this season. Before this, it was 48, and it was their only loss to Canfield. 49-48 was the final score for that one. So you go from a team that hasn't scored less than 48, and most of their final scores are in the high 50s, low 60s, and you hold them to 35. That's just, like I said, that's prototypical Salem defense. And they did it on the road, too, which was even more impressive. It's a tough environment to play in. The way Marlington's playing right now, they're getting a lot of support from the community. You look at all the pictures on Smug Mug with our ace photographer, Gary Leininger. You can see the crowd is full. Marlington's really excited about their girls basketball program right now, and they should be. Marlington's a very good girls basketball team right now. They were ranked 4th in the state in Division II for a reason. And if you look at our power rankings, which are now based on RPI, before last night, Marlington would be number 1 if they were a YSN school. The RPI would put them ahead of Canfield as number 1. So Salem goes on the road, beats that team, and they do it in just the absolute most Salem way you could do it, which is exemplary defense. I got some numbers that I got from Marlington's live stats, which I think is really cool. I wish more schools had the running live stats during the game. But field goal percentage for the Dukes, all right, they were 11 for 38. They shot 29% from the field. And they shot 3 for 12 from 3-point. So 25% from 3. And then they only had 19 offensive rebounds, 14 defensive rebounds, 19 total. Salem out-rebounded the Dukes 27-19. They had more assists. They had 9 assists to Marlington's 6. Actually, Salem turned the ball over 2 more times, but both teams probably more turnovers than they're used to. 21 and 19. Salem had 21. Marlington had 19. Salem had less fouls, so they both played good defense, but Salem was obviously cleaner. 11 fouls on Salem's side. Marlington had 15 fouls, and then that was a big storyline too. You look at free throws. Marlington shot really well from the free throw line, but they only got there 11 times. So they were 10 for 11, 91% from the free throw line. Salem more than doubled their trips to the line, 15 for 23. I would take 15 for 23 over 10 out of 11. Obviously, you got 5 more points on the line there. The percentage isn't as good, so Marlington could pound their chest. They shot 91% from the line. But when you're shooting that well and you're just not getting there enough, and the other team gets there more than twice as much as you do, that's a problem, right? That's a problem. And that's one of the big reasons I think why Salem was able to win this game, especially down the stretch. Marlington had to extend the game. They were down by a couple of possessions late in the fourth quarter. They had to keep fouling. Salem won this game from the free throw line. And when you look at it, remember back on Monday when I said this Salem team this year is more dangerous than they were last year? And I said it's because their offense has more ways to score and they're just a little bit more dangerous on offense. I think last night proves it, because if you look at the way that game flowed, very slow start offensively for both teams. What was it, 4-2 after one quarter? I'm going to look at the quarter stats. We were getting live updates from Aaron Moser, who was at the game. So yeah, after one, it was 4-2, right? So a very slow offensive start. Halftime, you have 11-11. After three, Marlington has 18 points. So their fourth quarter was by far their best quarter. I'm talking about the Dukes. Offensively, they were able to score, 17 points in the fourth quarter to end with 35. But Salem was also up for the task on offense in the fourth quarter, scoring, what would that be, 18? 23-41? Yeah, 18. So scoring 18 points to match Marlington's 17. I feel like last year's Salem team, I don't know if they could do that. I feel like the way this game went, I feel like last year's Salem team might have lost this game because they didn't have that offensive just firepower to push through a big quarter like that if a team goes off for 17 in the fourth. This Salem team is just a little bit better on offense. They're just as good on defense. They proved that last night. That's why I just think they're more dangerous than they were last year. And that's scary because last year's team went to the regional final. So we're going to have to see what the Salem team can do. It's going to be a tough super district with Salem, Marlington, and Canfield all in the same Northeast district, and they're all going to have to choose what brackets they want to go into. West Branch is playing a lot better now with Sophie Gregory on the floor, so I don't count Coach DeShields out. He always finds a way into a district somehow. So the way those four teams and other teams in Division 2, like Ursuline is up there this year as well, the way all those teams kind of manage how to pick the district and what districts to go into, going to be very, very interesting. This game's important because now you can make that decision based on your second matchup. So I was talking about it like Marlington can now decide. Well, actually, Marlington doesn't have to decide anything. They'll probably still be the one seed. It'll be tough. It'll be Canfield, Marlington, Salem. Those three are going to be the top three. I can almost guarantee that. But I would feel like Marlington's RPI, being number 3 in the RPI to this point and being ahead of Canfield in the RPI to Wednesday, and the voting being like right now, I feel like Marlington will still come away with that one seed. If I had to guess, I would say the way the coaches vote would be Marlington 1, Canfield 2, Salem 3. But that's just, I think a lot of coaches are looking at RPI this year, that Martin RPI, and that's just the way those shake out. But when you look at it, it means that now Salem can have that decision knowing that they got that Marlington monkey off their back, right? So maybe they're not scared of Marlington. They're definitely not scared of Canfield because Canfield seniors have never beaten Salem in the 4 years they've played. So Salem has definitely had Canfield's number. The question is, and I've said this with Ty, and I've said this on this show, do you want to tempt that fate? Do you want to say, hey, can we beat this team again and again and again and again, this really good Canfield team? Or do you want to, go with the familiar opponent that now you've proven you can beat in Marlington? I don't know. I think if I had to guess, and we'll have the seeds on Saturday and then the brackets on Sunday. If I had to guess, I think Salem is going to be the one that has to make that decision. I think Canfield and Marlington are going to be the 1-2. They're going to go away from each other. And I think Salem is going to get the opportunity to decide if they want to go on Marlington's side or Canfield's side. And it'll be really interesting to see what Coach Hamilton Phillips decides to do with that decision. Last year, Salem went away from Marlington into their own district. But last year, it was 1-2. So this year, 1-3, not official, just my guess. 1-3, if it shakes out that way, Do they choose Canfield or Marlington? I don't know. I would have to deep dive. I'm sure no one knows her team better than Coach Hamilton Phillips, so she knows exactly who they're more comfortable with playing, and she'll make that decision very smartly. So if I just on my knowledge and what I would do as a coach, and by no means am I anywhere close to the experienced coach that Coach Hamilton Phillips is, I would still go into Canfield's district. Because of the fact that Canfield, when I look at their makeup and the way they like to score, they like to shoot. They're a really good shooting team. They don't have as many players that like to drive inside and score on the dribble drive. And I think that can give Salem a little bit more trouble when you drive in on their defense instead of just popping and shooting. I think Salem's actually, and they proved it last night, they're really good at holding you down to a low shooting percentage, which is kryptonite for Canfield. So I would go to Canfield's bracket if I was Salem and I was just looking at what I know from both teams. But obviously, like I said, Coach Hamilton Phillips knows her team way better than I do because she's with them every day and she's actually seen that matchup on film and she's broken it down. So she'll make that decision a lot with a lot more evidence than I could. I'm just going off of what I see. I think Salem matches up better with Canfield, and I think the past matchups with Canfield kind of prove that. So we'll see how that shakes up. It's going to be very interesting. The seedings will be out Saturday and the brackets will be out Sunday. So when we come back on Monday, we're going to be able to talk about the districts real quick. We're probably not going to go into, a deep dive into the districts while the regular season is still going, but we'll definitely go over the brackets and let you know where each team falls and what kind of these teams' road looks like. And then obviously when the regular season ends and we get into tournament time, we'll really do kind of a deep analysis into the brackets and what they look like and how these teams match up with each other like we do every year. I mean, this is not the first year that Running Point has been covering tournament games. So that's kind of the game plan. Monday we'll go over the bracket, we'll release it, and then after the regular season is over, we'll have a kind of a deep dive analyzation. Let's go with that word of the tournament and where these teams fall and how their matchups kind of look. It's going to be a fun time. I'm so excited. This is the best time of year when you get into tournament time, and the fact that we're going to have seedings on Saturday, brackets on Sunday. It's exhilarating. But then it's a weird thing because you get them and you're like, well, we still have conferences to decide. By the end of the weekend, there are still going to be a lot of conferences up in the air. And one of them is going to be the NE8. We'll talk about those matchups tonight. NE8 girls basketball, big matchup tonight in the conference in Struthers. We'll talk about that more when we get back from our break. We are going to take a break. On the other end of it, we're going to have our interviews. You'll hear from, I almost said Emma Cunningham again. You'll hear from Taylor McClish, senior from South Range, and then you'll also hear from Aaron Romai, senior from Jackson Milton. Anthony, get it together. Yeah, senior from Jackson Milton. Both of those interviews coming up after this commercial break on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com or find us on Facebook.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting. where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we are going to go into the interview section of this show. You're going to hear from South Range girls basketball senior Taylor McClish, and she has a very interesting side job and a very interesting side talent that she has off the basketball court that I can't wait for you to hear about towards the end of this interview. Shocked me. I had no idea about it, and it's very cool. That's a little tease, but here's your interview with Taylor McClish from South Range. Anthony Hartwig with you, South Range girls basketball player profile. I'm joined by senior Taylor McClish. Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Here it is, senior season. It feels like just yesterday we were interviewing you as a freshman, you and Emma together. What's it mean to you to kind of be in the senior season and try to feel all the emotions that senior year can bring?
It feels great. I mean, it's definitely crazy looking back, like all the way to freshman year and seeing like how much like me and Emma have grown. And like, it's crazy that we're already like halfway through a season through, and it's just, time flies, honestly.
You know, what were some of the big things that brought you back this year to South Range to kind of give a last hurrah and play in your senior season?
One of the main reasons I came back was obviously for Emma, and that it's like, it was my senior year. I didn't play any sports, and I was like, I might as well. And then last year, like I took it off. I had a lot of things going on. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I might as well. It didn't hurt to try, and I missed it a whole bunch last year, and so that's kind of one of the reasons I came back.
All right, so was it one of those things that you didn't realize how much you missed until you got back on the floor and you got back on the practices and that kind of in the game feeling? Did you miss it? Did you realize even how much you missed it even more when you got on the floor?
Oh, 100%.
Now that you are back and it is your senior year and everything you're doing is kind of for the last time, how are you handling the emotions that senior year can bring? You know, the last home game in a couple of weeks, and the last time you play this team, time you play this team, and whatever it may be, all the last that senior year can bring. How are you handling the emotions?
I'm definitely towards the, like, as it's getting towards the end, I'm getting a little upset that it's like my last year, because to me it still feels like it's my junior year because I didn't play. So like it's kind of like a realization that like this is like the final of everything, and it makes me sad.
How long did it take you to get back into basketball shape and get back into the groove of being, you know, a varsity level basketball player?
I think it definitely took me almost, I'd say a couple of weeks to like get back into the flow, because like I didn't pick up a ball for a year, and then like just jumping into it was really difficult for me at first, but now like halfway through the season, like I'm finally finding my groove again, and feels great.
It all came rushing back because here you are, one of the big deep threats of the South Range offense. You're definitely shooting pretty well this year, especially from behind the arc. What has gone into your success this year, especially, like I said, especially in the shooting aspect?
Well, I like freshman and sophomore year, whenever I played, I was never really an offensive player, more defense. And so this year, like, because we never really like had like a huge like leading scorer, like our leading scorer was like Lexi, and now that we didn't have her, I knew that like in practice I needed to work on my shooting so that I could give like the team extra points when we needed it. And so that's like something I really focus on in practice, is I'm always shooting threes, like working on my form and stuff, so we have that during the games.
A big thing that goes into shooters is their confidence, right? So what have you been doing to try to keep your confidence up throughout this whole season? As you said, you knew you had to be kind of more of an offensive threat. So what did you kind of do to make sure your confidence was always at the highest level it could be?
Well, definitely getting the green light from Coach Fischel. Like, he encourages me a whole bunch to shoot in the games and in practice. Like, him telling me that I'm a good shooter, like that definitely brings my confidence up.
You know, you and Emma are the only two seniors on this team. It's a good mix of you got some veterans that have been on the varsity floor for a couple of years, and then you got some new faces that are kind of stepping up to bigger roles or stepping into the team. What's that been like this season from your perspective to kind of gel some veterans with some new players that are trying to find their own spot on the floor?
I think that it's honestly great seeing all like the new freshmen come up, and they're a huge help. And it's nice for me and Emma to get to be the leaders because, like how it was for us freshman year, Bree and Izzy, they were the leaders and we looked up to them. And now the freshmen are looking up to me and Emma. So I think it's nice.
How much of your freshman year did you draw back on to try to help the freshmen this year and try to give them advice on kind of some of the things that you went through on your freshman season?
Definitely to like slow the game down, because like whenever like you come in as a freshman, like you feel like you're rushed, like you don't have any confidence, and then so like me and Emma, we try to build their confidence up, like it's okay to make mistakes, like we did it too, and like so tell them like it's okay, like no worries, like we're there for you, you know.
As you reflect on freshman year trying to do that, what do you think are some the biggest differences you see in yourself from freshman year Taylor to now?
Definitely my voice. Like freshman year, I was real quiet. Like I never, like I didn't want to talk over like the older people. So now that like I'm older, like I feel like I'm a lot more vocal and definitely a bigger leader to the younger girls.
What was it like coming into this season? Obviously, we talked about missing last year, but you come in and you know that you have to be a leader to this team. So how do you balance trying to just get back into the basketball flow, but also trying to be a senior leader to this team that really needed some leadership to step up?
Emma definitely helped with that. Like I saw her stepping up, and so like I knew like it was time for me to step up. And like she, before basketball season started, we would go to the gym and we'd shoot around because I wasn't 100% for sure gonna play, but then she finally talked to me, and so that kind of helped.
You and Emma are both we're both members of teams that went to regional finals and those back-to-back runs that the Raiders had not too long ago. How much does that make you guys hungry to try to get the Raiders back to that kind of dominance and that kind of tournament run?
I definitely think if we play like as a team, we can 100% make it to regional finals again. It's just all about confidence. Like as long as we all have faith in each other, I 100% think we can.
And we have seen that grow throughout the season. We know a tough start to the year for you guys, but now you're starting to put it together. Take us inside the locker room and what kind of things have been happening in there to really build that trust and build that faith in each other to play as a unit.
I think that like at the beginning of the season, like it was hard for us all to bond because like we never really like saw each other. Like me and Emma really aren't in school, so we never saw any of the other girls. And I think like halfway through the season, like we finally like we were like we need to bond more, like we need to play as a team. And so I think that like that's what really helped.
What were some of the things you guys did off the court to try to bond more with this team and try to build team chemistry a little bit?
We started doing team feeds, so we'd stay after school and we'd all talk to each other. And then like in the locker room, like before games, we're always like jamming out to music, bonding with each other.
What teammate have you gotten to know the most over the course of this season so far?
Besides Emma, I'd say Olivia Yeagley.
I mean, could you have gotten to know Emma anymore? I mean, you guys have been like connected at the hip since freshman season. Why don't we just talk about that relationship? Obviously, you guys are really good friends. You've been good friends since we saw you in freshman year, probably before that. What's it been like going through this journey with her? And like you said, she talked you into coming back this year too.
I think it's honestly great. Like we've seen each other grow more than like I've seen anyone else grow, and it's nice like having that friend there for you, because she's there for me like no matter what, and I'm always there for her. And it's awesome getting to see each other grow and be the person that, like, the best version of her.
How much does that connection help on the court? I mean, do you guys have almost a nonverbal communication where you kind of know what Emma's going to do before anyone else does?
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you think have been some of the big reasons why you two are so close? Like, what makes that friendship so strong?
I mean, honestly, like, I feel like we're the exact same, like, type of person. Like, we're pretty much twins. Like, we could honestly be sisters if we really wanted to. Yeah, I just feel like we get along so well. Like, it's hard to explain.
All right, Coach Fish has brought kind of a rejuvenated step into this program, and obviously you've been under him your whole career. So talk about what it's been like being coached by Coach Fishel, and what he's brought to your life and what he's helped you with the most in your career.
Coach Fishel, he's an amazing coach. Definitely one of my favorites by far. He's really good about getting on me whenever I make a mistake, and he comes off like he's mean, but I know deep down inside he's only doing it to make the best version of myself. And he's really taught me a lot, and I'm very thankful for him.
What do you think is something that not a lot of people know about Coach Fishel that you guys get to know because you're in practices with him every day?
He's definitely a very emotional person. You wouldn't think, like, seeing him coach, because he's like screaming at us, coaches do, but he's a very emotional person.
When you kind of get into the emotions of the game, because it's an emotional sport, what have been some of your favorite like moments of basketball that you've had so far in your career?
I'd say like Poland, the Poland game that we just had. Seeing that like no one like believed in us, like that it was going to be a blowout, and then seeing all of us as a team work really hard and like keeping them in the first quarter to 5 points, and it was like a 1-point game, and then seeing them like make a run, and then watching all of us come back and bring it down to like 5 points. I think that's like the excitement has definitely been my favorite.
How cool was it, just going back to that game, to see Gwen Lowry be the one that hits a shot to make it a 3-point game? I mean, it's got to be awesome as a senior leader, right?
Oh, I loved watching that. She had a couple more open shots. She didn't hit them, but like seeing her confidence after that shot, it was outstanding. I loved it.
Obviously you guys didn't come out of that game, the right side of that game, but what did you guys take away? You've had a day now to be together as a team afterwards. What kind of lessons do you think you took from that game, and what kind of positives did you take from, like you said, playing a lot better against Poland than the first time around?
It definitely helped. Like, no one really believed in us like before the game, and then like we kind of used that as motivation. Like we really wanted to win it. It sucked that we didn't, but it definitely showed that if we can play together, we can 100% be on top.
All right, so now let's talk about future goals. Obviously, it's your senior season. So last year at South Range, what kind of things do you see for yourself after graduation that you want to accomplish?
After I graduate high school, I want to go to YSU and get my bachelor's degree in nursing, and then hopefully join into a PA program to become a physician assistant. Those are my big goals.
All right, so when you see yourself having the want to go into that career, what was it that made you interested in that? Was it kind of a life experience that leaned you toward nursing, or is it just something that you kind of want to explore?
Most of my family members are nurses. Like my mom, I think 3 of my aunts are nurses, and my grandma, and so I just kind of want to like keep it going in the generation.
Let's talk about your family, since you brought them up, and like you said, a family of nurses. What makes your family so special to you, and what are some things that you think make it unique from other families?
My family, I have 3 brothers and then my mom and dad, and I think they're so supportive no matter what. Like anything I wanted to do, like they're just always there for me, and then my brothers have always been there for me, and yeah.
When you look at some of your role models that you've had over your life, what kind of names come to mind?
Coach Fischel, Coach Pav, those are two huge role models. My mom and dad, they're big role models in my life.
Since you brought up your coaches, what kind of things outside of basketball do you think you draw from them that you'll probably take on after you graduate as life skills?
Leadership, they're huge like leaders to us, and I think I'll take that from them.
And then what about your mom and dad? Obviously, a lot of people have them as role models. What is it about them specifically that gives you that inspiration and that idea that they are role models to you?
Both my parents, they're very hard workers. They're normally never home, and I don't see them because they're always working. And I think like that shows like how much they want to provide for our family, and that's like something I want to do one day for my family.
All right. What is your favorite hobby outside of sports?
So something I do is I race four-wheelers professionally. You can consider it a sport. Most people consider it a hobby, but that's definitely my favorite.
No, when you're going that fast in a four-wheeler, that is a sport. I don't care what anyone says. Can we talk about that? Like, what got you into that? What's the driving force behind that? How's that going? I mean, wow.
So what got me into it was my dad, whenever he was around my age, he started racing. And then whenever me and my brothers were younger, I want to say around 8, we found a local race, and I watched my dad and my oldest brother race, and I was like, wow, like this is something I really want to do. And so I tried it, and then I loved it, and then it just kind of went from there. So
Professionally too, so you got to be pretty dang good at it. What's the I gotta know what's like the feeling of racing a four-wheeler kind of like? I mean, it's got to be exhilarating, right?
Oh, it's definitely an adrenaline rush, and I love it.
What's the biggest thing that teaches you, racing and all that stuff?
Definitely determination. You have to have it. Like, you have to want it more than others to be good at it, and it definitely taught me that I need to work hard for what I want.
Taylor McClish, the racer, didn't know that, and now we do. Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and letting us get to know you a little bit on and off the court. We appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
All right, thank you for having me.
Taylor McClish, the senior from South Range, great three-point shooter, great senior leader, but also, now we know, professional four-wheel driver. Who knew? No, and professional means it. Like, you go look, and like, she is sponsored. Like, the professional four-wheel racer. Not like I want to go do it in the weekends and just for fun. Like, this is a job. I have to go take care of business. I have to travel to do it. It's incredible. I absolutely think when you're going that fast on something that that is that I think that's a sport. I think anyone that that would argue that it's not is the same people that try to argue that NASCAR isn't a sport just because it's boring for them to watch. Like, oh, you're just going around in circles on a track. Yeah, but you're also having to deal with what, like 6 or 7 or 8 G's of force on your body, and you still have to move while you're feeling that. You ever try to do that? It's like go ride the Mission Space ride at Walt Disney, and then while you're doing it, try to turn your head and keep your arms moving so you can steer a car that's going 200 plus miles an hour. Not easy. Not easy. Definitely athletic. Even if it's not your sport, even if you don't like watching it, I don't really like watching NASCAR. I think you have to respect what they do. And same thing with four-wheel driving, four-wheel racing. So that was a very interesting fact about it that we got to learn from that interview. One of the great reasons why we like to do these player interviews. You never know what's going to pop up. A very confident Taylor McClish on the basketball side that feels like these Raiders, doesn't matter how they end the regular season record-wise, they feel like they can play with anybody in the district and anybody in the region. We'll see how it goes. They definitely have some talent, and they have one of the top shot blockers in Northeast Ohio with Emma Cunningham coming in averaging 3.5 blocks per game, 46 blocks total on the season for her. So Raiders will continue their season tonight. And another interview we have for you today, Jackson Milton Sr. on the boys' side Aaron Romai. Got a chance to catch up with him yesterday too. Here's that interview with senior from Jackson Milton, Aaron Romai. Anthony Hartwig with a Jackson Milton basketball player profile. I am joined by senior Aaron Romai. Aaron, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
And this season, it's your last, it's your senior season. It makes everyone get a little bit reflective. So when you look at your career and the memories that you've had and the things you've been able to do, what are some things that really stand out for you?
Definitely, the one thing that definitely comes to mind is Heartland game last year. Just second game of the season after a brutal, tough loss to Matthews, where we kind of all came together, and I ended up hitting that game winner. I think after that, we kind of really bonded with the team. And beginning of my career wasn't always the greatest. I had a slow start, but I had fun with the seniors, kind of learning from them back in the seniors 2021 class. But hopefully we can make some more memories this year and keep it going.
I feel like that buzzer beater against Heartland was kind of like your coming out party for everyone at YSN and everyone in the area. Like this kid is legit. And you went through the rest of the season and you really succeeded really well. But now this year, it's like you've stepped up your game a little bit because you're a senior and you lost so many seniors last year. How has it felt like coming into this season knowing that there's a little bit more responsibility on your shoulders?
Yeah, with the loss of our senior Logan Sokol, I felt like I had to kind of step it up. I've been in the gym almost every day over the summer trying to get my game better because I know we're still a pretty young team. I have a lot of juniors and my brother's a sophomore coming up behind me. So I got to feel like I have to be a role model to them and kind of push them, show them what it takes to be great and keep pushing them to be the best they can be too.
How would you kind of describe your leadership qualities? What kind of qualities do you bring to the table as a leader?
My coaches tell me all the time that I'm more of I kind of prove it out on the court. I'm not crazy vocal. I mean, I'm sure my teammates will tell you that I'm a little vocal at times, but I kind of like to let my game do and talking a lot more. But I'm starting to get more into that leadership role. I'm still growing, still adapting into it, being more vocal towards like on the court and outside of the court, trying to push my teammates more.
When you came into this season, obviously you knew you were going to have to be a leader. You knew it was your senior year. Who did you kind of lean on as leaders of the past that you've had and that have shown you how to be a leader for some of the ideas of what you had to do?
Definitely Logan Sokol. He's pushed me all throughout my career ever since middle school, just defending me. He's always plays his heart out. He's always pushed me and he's always supported me since day one. So I've looked up to him a lot. And another guy I also looked up to in the 2021 class was actually Frank Prosy. He kind of showed me that hustle too, and he kind of showed me what it was to play with straight hustle and rebound and do all the dirty work, not just score. So
I want to take you back to a couple of games ago. The last game I was at the broadcast, you were obviously a little bit under the weather. You weren't able to go. You tried in the warm-ups, but your team really stepped up shorthanded. A couple of other players got hurt right off the jump. What was it like for you as a senior to see some young players come in and really just give everything they had to get a win that night when you guys had to use your bench quite a bit?
I was really proud of them, how they stepped up and do it without me. I've seen a lot of growth there. So I think it'll be good going forward. Hopefully we can keep it going. And I was just really proud of, especially Ryan and Aiden Stanky, just how they grew that game and how they kind of took control and they took that leadership role upon them. Because I know I pushed them a lot to be the best they can be. So I was really proud.
You brought up pushing Ryan and getting him to the best he can be. You two are a great tandem on the floor. What kind of things have you seen from him the last 2 years? What's the dynamic like on the floor having your brother on the team?
It's a blessing. I mean, we play together with each other so long that we know exactly where we're going to be on the court together and what we're thinking at the same time. I think this year we've taken a really good step up playing together. Last year we kind of got flustered a little bit with each other sometimes, but I think this year we're doing a lot better and we're playing with each other a lot more. So I think it's been really great.
Obviously, knowing each other so well, does that help you guys communicate on the floor? Knowing like, hey, Ryan's going to do this because I know he's going to do this.
Yeah, like I just said, that we kind of know what each other is thinking, and like he knows the switch, and I know where he's going to be when I drive. I can kick, and he knows where I'm going to be at, and we know what each other's thinking all the time.
What about some differences? What do you think he does that you don't do, and what kind of things do you do that are a little bit different than him?
He's definitely better at getting the basket than I am. He handles the ball a lot more. He's very good at dribbling, getting through the press, breaking the press. I'm more of a shooter. I kind of like score the ball a little bit more, but yeah, he gets to the basket really well for how young he is too. I can't wait to see what his game goes to.
Obviously, they say shoot or shoot, and you can't go as long as you have in your career without having at least one night where your shot's just not going in. How have you kept your confidence through times like that to just keep shooting?
Just trusting my teammates, really. I know I can affect the game more than just shooting. I can rebound, I can defend, I can get my teammates involved. So like our last game, I really wasn't shooting the ball well, but I just kept trusting my teammates. You just got to trust your team.
You guys playing a really tough MVAC. What's it like to go out there every night knowing that you're getting a really good opponent and you really have to bring your A game every time you go out on the floor?
Definitely pushes me. MVAC is extremely competitive. We talk about it all the time, not just in basketball, but in baseball and in football. All the athletes through Jacksonville, we all talk about it all the time, how it's so competitive and how it pushes us to be great every time we step out on the floor, and we just have to bring our A game every night.
I think I know the answer to this because there's a pretty big rivalry in Jackson Milton, but is there one team that you circle the most when you're looking at your schedule and you can't wait to step on the floor against them?
Definitely Western Reserve.
When you think about all your games against Western Reserve and what are some of the things that make that rivalry so heated, do you think?
Definitely the atmosphere. Every time we play them, the gym is full. It's competitive. I mean, it's always a great game. All throughout, it's always been close. I mean, it's just so fun to play in too.
I mean, it matters more when there's a trophy involved, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want to talk about your coach too, Coach Procopio. He's been one of YSN's biggest supporters. He's always thanking us for being at the games and stuff. So, what's he mean to you, and what's it meant to be under him over the last 4 years?
It means a lot. He's really pushed me to get better, and he's definitely brings a different way of thinking. So he's a lot more vocal than I am. But he definitely pushes me a lot.
What's one part of your game that you can point at and say, like, Coach Procopio helped me the most at growing this part of my game?
Trusting my teammates, really, because he really preaches trusting each other, and I learned that through one of my freshman and sophomore year about how just trusting the older guys and learning from them and learning from my team and just trust everyone.
Obviously, he trusts you a lot. He gives you the green light to shoot. Does having that trust in your coach help you trust your teammates?
Oh, 100%. Because if I'm having a bad shooting night, then I know I can stay out on the floor, and he has confidence in me to make the right play and just have confidence in me with my team and stuff. So.
All right, let's talk about this Jackson Milton community. We just saw Ryan get on the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley list, and you guys really stepped up as a community, got him voted, got him the win, and I'm sure you'll pop up on that list before the end of the season. But what is it about this Jackson Milton community that makes it so special?
Just really seeing all the younger kids coming back and coming to the games and stuff. We had a little drought a while ago where the kids weren't really coming to the games, but now I think we're starting, as we get better and as we transform and get more younger kids into the system, I think we're getting a lot more kids in the game and hopefully getting a lot more kids to stay in the basketball program and get better and want to compete for us.
Obviously, the way the varsity team handles the youth is a big reason about that. What kind of things have you guys done to try to filter through the youth and try to make them excited about basketball and excited to be varsity members one day?
So recently, me and my brother we host a tournament called the Harry M. Lay for the elementary school kids. Me and my brother went and watched the 6th grade play, and we spoke to them after the game, keep their heads up, keep working. And me and my brother will go to the middle school practices as well, and we'll just help them out as much as we can because they're the guys coming up next couple of years. So we just need them to keep wanting to get better and keep wanting to play and have fun with it.
Also, unfortunately, obviously, we know that Jackson Milton doesn't have a girls team this year, so you guys are the only show in town. Have you kind of felt that at these games that you're the only place that Jackson Milton fans can go to now?
A little bit. There's a lot more people coming out to see us, and you can kind of see like some of the girls that wanted to play basketball. They're at the games. Their families are at the games. We definitely hope to have a team next year, and you can definitely feel it. We miss them.
What about some things that you hope that this program can continue succeeding in? If we were going to ask a player next year what it was like to have Aaron Romai be a senior, what kind of things would you hope the answer would be?
Most importantly, that I was a good role model and good leader to them. That my game really helped them evolve, and I helped them get better the way that they could, and just have an impact on the team, not just in scoring but everywhere else, and just keep working hard. Most importantly.
One of the things that we notice about when you play basketball, way past the X's and O's, you're a high character kid, you play things the right way. And I'm sure that can be hard in the high emotions of some games you've had already, some games where emotions get high. Where do you draw on to make sure that you're keeping yourself a high character kid and making sure you're playing the game the right way through all that adversity and stuff?
That's just kind of the way I've always been. I don't really show a lot of emotion. I've played in a lot of big games, and I've been part of this program for so long. I know what it takes to get done, and it's just the way I am. I just always calm, just try to keep my composure the best I can.
All right, if you were going to give some advice to a kid that is maybe in 6th or 7th grade, and obviously you've already given them some advice, but what do you think one big piece of advice from you if they want to get to your level would be?
I'll keep working. Basketball season isn't just through the months of November to February. You got to work in the summertime. You got to always keep working out because someone else is always going to be working out too. You got to push yourself, most importantly.
All right, since you're a senior, we have to talk about your future as well, what you plan to do outside of Jackson Milton after you graduate. What are some of your future plans?
I plan on playing basketball in college. I'm not sure where yet. I'm talking to a couple colleges, but if not, I just want to go get a nursing degree and become a nurse anesthetist, and eventually become a coach and push kids and make them the best they can be too.
Okay, so as you're filtering through college programs and you're talking to coaches, what are some things that you're looking for in a program and a coach that would make you say that you want to play there?
For first thing is having my major, because that's what I really want to do, and just the way I get along with the coaches, how they interact with their players, and what the team is like. Do they fit my style, and how do I know them?
When you look at some of the other things, like you said, you want to be a nurse and a nurse psychologist, but what life experience brought you to that interest? Like, where did you decide that you wanted to do that? Because you have a clear goal of what you want to do in the future.
My mom's a nurse, so she kind of inspired me. She's helping people, especially through COVID and stuff. She was working all the time, and she'd come home, and we wouldn't even be able to see her because she'd be working with the COVID. So she kind of inspired me, and she knows a lot of stuff, and it just interests me a lot.
All right, final question before we get you out of here. We're going to hit you up with some rapid fire questions. First, we're going to ask you about some of your teammates. What teammate on your team do you think has the most style?
Most style? Aiden Stanky.
What about someone that thinks they have that swag, but people look at them and you don't.
Dom Zatello for sure.
Who is the comedian on the team? The one that can always make the team laugh no matter what the situation is?
Dom Zatello and Aiden Stanky for sure.
When you think about a player with the best playlist, like the one that can always be the team DJ, who are you thinking of?
Myself for sure.
I like it. What's your playlist look like? What gives you that honor?
I got a lot of things on it, a lot more hype stuff. I mean, our pregame, I just had a senior, so I've been doing it for 2 years now. And I ask everyone what they want on it too, so I kind of get everyone else involved. It's not just me, but a lot of Drake and a lot of 21 Savage, I would say.
What teammate has the best house to hang out at?
Probably Jackson Horner.
What teammate's parent brings the best snack bags to the away games?
Zeke Brock.
What makes it good? Like, what's the one thing in that snack bag that is a golden A for you?
Just the Gatorade for sure. It's just kind of keep playing.
What's your favorite flavor?
Grape.
Are there any flavors that you wish Gatorade had that they don't?
I'm not sure if they have this flavor, but mango. I think mango would be very good.
All right, Aaron. Thank you so much again for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the year, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That was Aaron Romai, a senior from Jackson Milton. And what great two interviews today that we were able to get that will be on our website very, very soon. Taylor McClish and Aaron Romai from South Range and Jackson Milton, respectively. As we wind down the show, we're going to preview what will be on the network tonight. And it's going to be a good night of girls basketball on a Thursday. And we will start with the first game on tap at 5:30 for your tip. Pymatuning Valley at Badger. Like I said before, Badger wins this game. Not only do they win the 14th straight, but they also get a seat in that NAC championship game. And they haven't won a league championship on the girls' side for Badger in 38 seasons. So a big night in Kinsman. Matt Morrison will be on the call for you there. 6 p.m. It'll be Liberty going to Garrettsville Garfield. Their school broadcasting team will have that one covered for you. Also at 6 p.m., Waterloo goes to Sebring. Ty Bartell has you covered there. Then we go into 6:30. Akron Ellett goes to Archbishop Hoban. It's senior night, and I will be there in the castle for that one at 6:30. 7 o'clock. This one is huge. Girard goes to Struthers. Girard 1 game back of the NE8. Struthers currently tied with Poland in the top spot. So Struthers needs to win this one. But the interesting thing is, who's right next door for Struthers? Who's next on tap? It's Poland. So the Wildcats have to make sure they do not even in the slightest overlook Girard because they got to win this one before that game on Monday means anything. Struthers and Girard tips off at 7 o'clock. The school's got you covered there. Lakeview goes to Hubbard. Jamie Thompson and David Williams have you covered from the Eagles Nest. Latonia goes to Lisbon. That'll be video only, but it will be on the network at 7 o'clock. Newton Falls goes to Crestview tonight, and it'll be Larry Scragg on the call at 7. South Range travels to Niles. Ian O'Brien has the call for you there. Southern and the Indians travel to East Palestine, and DJ Oakley going to the Bulldogs house for that one. 7 o'clock start time there. Springfield goes to Lowville. It'll be Richie Giuliano on the call for you at that one. Wellsville at United. That one will be Chris Sigler on the call. And then some games that are happening that won't be on the network. We'll have Poland at Jefferson at 7. Campbell at Champion at 7. Columbiana Valley Christian, 7 o'clock. Brookfield and will host La Brea at 7. And then Middle Ridge will host Western Reserve as well. Those are the games on tap for Thursday, January 26th. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games on the network tonight on the basketball scene. Should be a fun one. We'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 2 with Ty Bartell to recap the week and talk about some of the conference standings. We'll probably talk a little bit more about what we expect the brackets to look like this weekend. We'll obviously talk about the games that are going to be on tap on Friday at night as well. Going to be a fun show tomorrow from 1 to 2 with me and Ty. Until then, Power Hour comes up from 3 to 4, 12 games on the network tonight. Enjoy the evening, and thank you.